Welcome. In this session, we will introduce the Compuplast Virtual Extrusion Laboratory 2D FEM module and demonstrate how to prepare a grid or mesh using the tools within the 2D FEM module. So for this demo, I've prepared a folder under Documents, Val 6.7, 2D FEM Demo 1, and I'm going to create a new grid. I'll rename it as Demo 1. And I'll edit that grid. Now when this window opens up, we can size our grid to some scaling of what our project is. I'm just going to go 0 to 5. This isn't all critical because it can be adjusted on the fly. And then the first option or first item that we have available to us really is to add a node. So right here you can see the node add button, or under node we can go add. You can see everything else is pretty much grayed out. And when we add a node, we can add it kind of with the mouse, but this is kind of haphazard. You don't really know the exact position. You can follow it with the XY coordinates here. But really, probably the best way to add nodes when you're starting out, because usually you're probably going to be reading a drawing or something, you can click the Add Node button, and down here you can see it says place a node or press space bar for input from keyboard. So I hit space bar. And I'm going to put my first node in Cartesian coordinates at x5, y0. Click OK, and you'll see a node appears down here. Now I'm still in the Add Node command, so I hit spacebar once again, and I click here 1 inch, hit Enter, and 5. So that's the coordinate 5, 1. And you'll see another node appears right here, and I hit spacebar one more time, and I put here, let's say 7, and Y4, and click OK. And now another node appears. You can't see it. That's because it's a little bit off screen here. I'm just going to center it up with a wheel mouse here. So there's the 3 nodes I have right here. And I'm going to add one more node. This time I'm going to do it a little bit differently. This time I'm going to use the relative command, Cartesian coordinates. Now it'll be relative to another node. And I want it to be x0 and y1 inch. Relative to that node. Now which node I pick now depends on which one I want here. You can see if I move my mouse, the one that's closest to my mouse is highlighted. I want to use this one here, and I click OK, and you can see the node is added right up here. Now if I right click, again, if for some reason the nodes are out of view, you can just click this little basic view icon, Zoom Basic, and it'll bring everything centered on your screen. Now this isn't enough to create a flow field. Of course, we need to create another set of nodes that define a flow channel, and I can do that by continuing using the add function. But there's an easier way. We can go to node add equidistant group, which is like an offset command, and we click on this, and now it'll say select a node. So I'll click this one, and then I click this one, and we have a cyan line connecting those 2 nodes, and I can continue to click to add nodes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here. So I'm going to click this one more time. It turns red, and the message says select the P-line side by placing a virtual point. So I want to add it on this side, and I want it to be 0.25 inches over. So here I have these nodes separated by a 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to do the same thing up here. Click here, click this node one more time, go over here, and go 0.10 inch. So now these nodes are separated by 0.1 inch or 100 thou. Now I've created the nodes, but that's not enough for geometry. I need to add the elements in the geometry. And to do that, I can go to Element, Add, and you see I have 2 options here, Add or Add Quick. The Add option, I would go through and select the 4 nodes that I want to define my geometry. And that can be kind of tedious if you have many nodes, but it may be required if it's difficult if you can't use the Add Quick option. The Add Quick option, if it's possible to select the nodes by automatically by bringing your mouse close to 4 nodes, then you see those 4 selected. I click yes, and that's the Add Quick option. Allows you to quickly define the elements. Now the next step is to put the edges on the elements. So under divisions here, now they're all highlighted in red, so I'm going to give all the edges, say 6 divisions. Okay, so I'll leave that like that. Now we need to add our boundaries. So under boundary command, I go add, and I can go click, 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 click. Now I've finished that boundary. I click the last node once again, and you see that boundary's in red. And now I can right click once and go boundary type. And this is a wall, and I'll say it's a wall at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so that boundary is defined. Now I'll show you a little faster way. Once we have elements in there, if we want to define the boundary a little faster, we go boundary, add, we click here, click the next node for the direction of the boundary, and then just go right to the last node and click this one twice, double click it, and it'll automatically select all the nodes along that boundary and bring up the boundary type menu with the previously defined temperature. So now we just click OK. So that was specified easily. Now we're going to go boundary, add, and we're going to add the exit. So again, I'm going to click this one, and I'm going to essentially double click this one. And then it brings up the wall. We don't want a wall there. There I want an output. Okay. And then boundary, add, click here, and then double click here. And then here I want to specify down at the very bottom here, input mass flow rate. I want to specify, let's say, 200 pounds an hour at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and click OK. So now we've defined basically our geometry, and we can create our grid. So when we create our grid, we can see the grid doesn't look too bad here. Up here it's a little bit skewed, and here it's very, very skewed. Because if you remember, we only have 6 divisions along this edge. So what we can do to try to improve the aspect ratio of our mesh is we can go here to the edge command, select an edge. So I'll select this edge. You can see it shows here the divisions on that edge is 6. So I select that edge, right click once, go edge, division, and then raise that divisions, let's say up to 12. Okay, and then I right click to release that, and then go edge, select, unselect. We'll select this edge again, it's 6, right click once, edge, divisions, and let's say we'll bring this one up to 10. Okay. And now when we click the grid icon here to create the grid, you see that the grid aspect ratio is a little bit better. But in general, it is recommended that the aspect ratio be as close to 1 as possible. However, if the geometry is not changing drastically, then the larger aspect ratio should not be a problem. So we go File, Save, File, Exit. It'll do some renumbering, and the grid is ready with a checkbox. In the next session, I will demonstrate how we use this grid to create a project and perform a simulation. Thank you.